All right, next up, we have our speaker, Senator Victoria Steele. Arizona State Senator Victoria Steele is a Democrat representing Tucson, Arizona's 9th district. As Seneca Mingo, she is a powerful advocate for addressing climate change and ending violence against women and children. As a member of the Indigenous Peoples Caucus, she introduced legislation that led to the creation of the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women Task Force. Senator Steele is a champion for the ratification of the Equal Rights Amendment. She has introduced the ERA ratification bill in the legislature for many years. She is dedicated to protecting the environment and helping victims of sexual assault, incest, child abuse, and domestic violence. She has a master's degree in counseling psychology and a 25-year career as a television and radio newscaster. She's a co-whip on the Senate Democratic Leadership Team. She serves on the Natural Resources, Energy and Water Committee, as well as the Transportation and the Senate Ethics Committee. So thank you and welcome, Senator Steele.
Thank you. It's wonderful to see you again. I really, truly wish that we could all be together in person. You all give me, excuse me, you all give me great energy and I live off of that. It's really good. So today I introduced the Equal Rights Amendment again. And this time I waited until the very day that is January 27th, because this is a special day. You'll have to forgive my voice. I've been talking a lot today. I started out with the committee. We are extending and expanding our scope on the missing and murdered Indigenous people study committee. We've taken it from women and girls to now include men and boys, because we found a significant increase in the number of men and boys. So we are including that, and we're continuing the study for another 2 years if we should get approval. So I took it to committee in the Judiciary Committee today, and it passed unanimously. I got tremendous support for this bill. So we are moving ahead now. You know, it goes through its paces, and then I went to the floor today and I made this speech, which I'm going to share with you now. It is inconceivable that nearly 100 years after the Equal Rights Amendment was first introduced, women are still not recognized as equal under our United States Constitution. Until all citizens are seen as equal, we will never have a real democracy. It is shameful to see yet another year go by without agreement that all Americans, regardless of their sex, deserve equal rights and protection under the law. Like so many issues these days, the Equal Rights Amendment has been bogged down by politics, and that is unfortunate. On January 27th, 2020, Virginia became the 38th state to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment, thus fulfilling the requirements of Article 5 of the Constitution that the amendment be referred to the states by 2/3 of Congress and then ratified by 3/4 of the states. No time limits are specified in the Constitution, and Congress is not free to amend the Constitution at will. Today, January 27th, 2022, marks the end of the 2-year waiting period for the Equal Rights Amendment to go into effect across the country after meeting all of the constitutional requirements. Arizona women led the charge for women's right to vote in 1912. So why shouldn't we continue that great legacy and have this state join the other 38 states to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment? Let's give women the same rights under the Constitution that men have. We've waited long enough. Now is the time for equality. Now is the time to celebrate the fact that Equal Rights Amendment goes into effect on this date as Constitutional Amendment number 28. So that was my speech on the floor. And I held up the intercept for the bill right before I introduced it. And I said, we have every Democrat in the Senate and quite a few Democrats in the House that also signed on Pamela's bill and signed on mine as well. And I asked again for the Republicans to sign on. And they again chuckled and turned away. They don't take this seriously. They really, they are serious in their opposition, but they're, so I would just like to continue. I'm so glad that we got a chance to introduce it again this year. It's really important that Arizona is one of the states, even if it's after the fact, that we eventually ratify. It's not going to happen this year. We did not have enough votes to ratify the ERA in Arizona, but I think it should happen eventually, because we need to show women and girls all over the state they matter and that we've got their back and that they are equal. And we are just going to have to maintain our fight. We'll have to continue this. And what I would suggest is that we don't get tired, that when you do get tired, this is hard work. I know that it's hard work. We all know that. And it can be really demoralizing at times. But this is so important. When you get tired, take time out, heal, rejuvenate, find the spirit of it again for yourself, and let somebody else carry the weight for just a little bit. And then when you've got your strength and your energy back again, get back into the fight, because we need you. People have been fighting for this for 99 years in this country. And who are we to give up? Not when we're this close. We are very, very close. It has been ratified. Now all we need to do is get the archivist to put it into the Constitution and get that published. I believe it's going to happen soon. So let's keep working. Don't give up. And I'll be here with you. Thank you.
Next up, I'm happy to introduce Representative Pamela Powers-Hannley. Prior to being elected to the Arizona House in November 2016, Pamela Powers-Hannley, MPH, had a long career in public health, health promotion, behavioral research, and communications. Most recently, she was the managing editor of the American Journal of Medicine, one of the world's most influential internal medicine journals. Although she stepped down as managing editor to run for the Arizona House, she continues to work part-time at the journal as social media technology editor and occasional author. In her spare time, I'm surprised she has any, Pamela Powers is a progressive activist and blogger. She regularly writes about politics, economics, feminism, healthcare, drug policy, and immigration for Blog for Arizona, the Tucson Progressive, and the Huffington Post. A lifelong member of the Democratic Party, Pamela Hanley is vice chair of the Public Banking Institute, co-director of Arizonans for a New Economy, and former co-chair of the Arizona Democratic Progressive Caucus. In the Arizona House, Pamela Powers-Hanley is the ranking Democrat on the Health Committee and serves on the Banking and Insurance Committee. Pamela has introduced the ERA ratification bill in the State House year after year. Powers-Hanley holds a master's in public health from the University of Arizona and a BA in journalism from the Ohio State University. I think she is going to talk about two bills that have been recently introduced. So please take it over. Thank you for willing to share with us.
So Victoria gave an awesome speech. So I also gave a speech on the floor of the House today, and it was more just like right? Because I mean, how many years does it take to get Arizona to realize that women deserve equality? And so I proposed I dropped my ERA bills earlier because the House has a limit on how many bills we can thank goodness, how many bills we can put in during certain time frames. So after a certain time period, we only have 7 bills. So I put my ERA bills in earlier. So the ERA itself is HCR 2021, and the note to eliminate the deadline, which is kind of moot right now, is HCM 2005. And most of the Democrats signed them, not all, because it was the week that everybody was getting sick, and so I got what I could on it, and otherwise I just kind of went with it because of the because of COVID. People were, all the Republicans were going out without masks, and a few Democrats and half the lobbyists. So it was a very scary situation the first 2 weeks or so. And so what this really brings down to home is the situation that people like Athena Salmon is in. Athena Salmon just had a baby like the first week of January or so. And so because the Republicans decided to not have remote testimony and remote participation by members, she is now being discriminated against because she is at home with an infant. She can't bring that infant to the Capitol, and the Republicans will not let her. I'm sorry, I have a little sniffles here. I swear I don't have COVID. She is not allowed to come remotely to the Capitol to participate in her job. So if we had the ERA, she could sue the legislature because we have the technology. We know how to let people do remote participation, and she can't participate in her job because she has a baby at home. It's just a terrible situation. So obviously we still need the ERA. We still need it in the state of Arizona. So Victoria read her speech from today. So I'm going to read mine. It was very short. I wanted to, again, the House has like these ridiculous time frames on everything because they don't want us to talk too much. And so this is the speech that I give. Again, I'm sorry that my nose is running. Again, it's allergies. Sorry. So this is the speech that I gave today on the floor of the House. And it was really nice to have all of the Democrats behind me, most of them wearing at least some white. We haven't all been together much, again, because of the risk of COVID in the House. It's just ridiculous. So this is the speech I did. In January 2020, Virginia made history becoming but the 38th state to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment and send it to Congress for inclusion in the Constitution. The ERA is simple. It is one sentence, but it could have profound impact on the lives of Arizona women. The ERA reads, equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state, and I emphasize any state, on account of sex. The ERA is not about military service for women, gender neutral bathrooms, or abortion. The ERA is about economic opportunity. It is about equal pay for equal work. It is about equal protection under the Constitution. It is about fighting discrimination and structural sexism in the United States. And due to the intersectionality of race, ethnicity, and gender, the ERA will not only address sexism in the United States, it will take a jab at structural racism also. Nearly 100 years after the Equal Rights Amendment was finally initially proposed, women at all income levels still make roughly 77 cents on the dollar compared to men, and women of color make even less. The disparity in wages not only hurts women and their families, it hurts our state's economy since women comprise 51% of the population. I didn't add that more men are dying of COVID, so there's that. If women received equal pay for equal work, and if moms and their children were offered quality education, that would be economic development. That would be investment that would make our state stronger. By far, most of the people living in poverty in Arizona are women and their children. Why are we shortchanging future generations by forcing working mothers to struggle to keep food on the table and a roof over their heads? Let's let the women of Arizona know that we value them, their families, and their work by ratifying the ERA this year in the Arizona legislature. There's no time limit on equality. The time is now for the Equal Rights Amendment in Arizona. So that's about all I have to say. We need to keep struggling. As somebody said earlier, we can rest, we need to have balance in our lives, but we can't stop. So thank you for having me tonight. And what amazing music and poetry. Thank you so much.